Some of you remember during the campaign, we had a slogan, fired up. There we go. Not everybody here knows how this story came about. So I'm going to tell it again. Because it bears on health care reform. This is early in the campaign when none of you knew how to pronounce my name. I had just announced and I was looking for support. I had to go down to South Carolina. That was early primary state. I went down to Greenville for a legislative dinner. And I was sitting next to a state representative there, and I wanted her support. I needed some endorsements. Nobody supported me at the time. So I said, Madam Representative, I need your endorsement. She said, I will give you my endorsement if you come to my hometown, Greenwood, South Carolina. And I said, I had had a glass of wine. I said, fine. I'm coming. Come to find out that Greenwood is an hour and a half from every place else. It's in the middle of nowhere. So about a month later, I fly back into Greenville. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I've been campaigning for 2 weeks straight. I'm dragging my bags to my hotel room, and suddenly I get a tap on my shoulder. It's my staff person. I said, what? They said, we got to be in the car at 6:30 tomorrow morning. I said, what? 6:30, why? Because we've got to go to Greenwood like you promised. So the next morning, I wake up and I feel terrible. Dragging out of bed. Feel like a college student. Feel like I'm back in college and don't want to wake up. Feel like I've been staying up late doing who knows what. I know, I remember how y'all are. So I just feel I'm exhausted. I go over to the curtains to try to get some sunlight, wake myself up. It's pouring down rain outside. Miserable day. I go to get some coffee, open up the newspaper. There's a bad story about me in the New York Times. I go downstairs, and my umbrella busts open, and I get poured on. So by the time I'm in the car, I'm wet, and I'm sleepy, and I'm tired, and I'm mad. And we start driving, and we're driving, and it's an hour and a half, and I realize I'm going to have to drive an hour and a half back. And finally we get to Greenwood, although you don't know you're in Greenwood right away. But there's a little park district building. We go into this park field house. I get a little more wet. Get inside, and after this long drive, waking up at 6:30, there are only about 20 people. 20 people. And they're all kind of damp, and they don't look that excited to see me. They don't really know how to pronounce my name either. But, I'm running for president, so I'm shaking hands. How do you do? Nice to meet you. Suddenly, I hear this voice behind me shout out, fired up! And I'm startled. But everybody around me, they just think this is normal. They say, fired up. And suddenly, I hear this voice, ready to go! And everybody goes, ready to go. I said, what's going on? I look behind me, there's this small woman. She's about 5 feet, 5'2". She's about 50, 60 years old, and she's dressed like she just came from church. She got a big church hat, and she's looking at me. She's smiling. She says, "Fired up!" Come to find out that there's a city council member from Greenwood. She also, by the way, moonlights as a private detective. True story. True story. But she's mainly known for her chant. She does this everywhere she goes. Everywhere at any event, football game, at a city council meeting, she says, fired up. And then everybody says, fired up, I'm ready to go. Everybody says, ready to go. So for the next 5 minutes, she keeps on doing this. She says, fired up, ready to go, ready to go. And I realize I'm being upstaged by this woman. So I'm looking at my staff asking, what's going on here? When is this going to stop? And they're shrugging their shoulders. They don't know. But here's the thing, Marilyn. After about a couple minutes of this, suddenly I realized I'm feeling kind of fired up. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go. So I start joining in the chant. And for the rest of the day, wherever we went, whenever I saw my staff, I said, "Are you fired up?" They say, "I'm fired up, boss." "Are you ready to go?" They say, "I'm ready to go." So it goes to show you, and this is so important for young people, it goes to show you one voice can change a room. And if a voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. It can change a state, it can change a nation. If it can change a nation, it can change the world. We will change the world with your voice. We need the voices of young people to transform this nation, to meet up to the meaning of its creed. I need your voice. So I want to know, are you fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Let's go change the world. Thank you, everybody.